Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. Today we're taking a look at Wolcen, which is the relatively new ARPG. I think it came out about 3 weeks ago, had a really rough launch. I've waited a little bit of time just to see if the game settles down before giving a bit of an opinion, and I'm finding it a really frustrating and difficult game to get on with. So I thought, well, I'll wait and see if the problems that I have get fixed. They haven't really, so at the moment I just feel like I've got to stick this out and maybe give people a bit more of an informed decision about whether you should buy this game. Now, if you're a casual player, I probably would avoid this at the moment. I'll go through all the reasons as to why, but at the moment the game is just buggy, it doesn't work and it crashes far too often. But before we go in detail, I just want to welcome anyone who's new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And as always, guys, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Now, obviously, I play a lot of Diablo 3, I make Diablo 3 content, I do like the game, I play pretty much every class and every build, but I do try other ARPGs, I'm open-minded, so quite excited to get the beta, download it, give it a bit of a whirl, and quite excited for launch because there's a lot of things in this game that sound pretty good, a lot of the systems seem interesting, and in theory, if this game worked, I think it would be pretty good, but that's kind of the problem, it just doesn't work, and that's really going to be my main gripe with it. Now, the launch of the game was absolutely hideous. The servers were offline, I think, for 2 or 3 days. We had character progression lost and items missing from stash just emptying. Obviously, in an ARPG, absolute cardinal sin is to reset somebody's progress for no reason, take their items away. That's another pretty big one. And really, there's just been so many bugs in the game that I find it really difficult to play in the opening sort of few days, and particularly the opening week. Now, bugs that I've encountered personally from only having, a very limited amount of game time compared to some other players. I've had enemies that I can't destroy with a ranged class, so I can't actually hit them with anything. I have to put a melee weapon on to manually whack them. That's weird, stupid, shouldn't be like that. I've had the screen go completely black. I've had people fly about in the map. I've had NPCs disappear, items disappearing, all sorts of bugs, falling through the floor, loads of stuff, just really, really glitchy. But the one that really has taken the cake and the one that has really absolutely knackered my progress in this game has been, for some unknown reason, for the first 10 days of it, I couldn't actually respawn. Now, the game is a little bit difficult, but to kind of counterbalance that, you get 3 lives every level. So the idea is you get killed by a monster, you can hold down spacebar, it'll respawn you, you can do that 3 times. So that's fine, the game's challenging, you get the respawn mechanic to offset it, so, in theory, that should be fine. Unfortunately, because the respawn mechanic just didn't work for me for some reason, I held down spacebar and nothing happened. I've had to pick a ranged class to avoid damage, because I can't die, and that's pretty much really felt like I've had to play in a certain way, which again is frustrating. Now, the Act 1 boss in this game is really hard, probably ludicrously so, given the fact that it's a linear ARPG and this is essentially a content roadblock for somebody. So if you didn't build your character right, or it's just really, really difficult. Now, try taking on the Act 1 boss, but without being able to respawn. So the game has essentially forced me to play hardcore mode, where I've only had the 1 life to defeat the boss. And bluntly, I just couldn't do it. Now, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to get through the first 2 waves of the Act 1 boss, which is fine. Could do that multiple times, but on wave 3, he's got lots of AoE, he jumps around. It's really difficult to avoid all this stuff, and you need your respawns. So I pretty much got stuck for just under 2 weeks because of the particular bug. Now, I did fix it, and I have now cleared the Act 1 boss, but unfortunately, the bugs in the game are still there. So immediately after clearing it, the cutscene crashed. I was sat there looking at a black screen for 5 minutes, exited the game, restarted, started playing Act 2, and again, just full of bugs. Screen goes black, can't target any enemies, just absolutely ridiculous. So all in all, the actual engine of the game just doesn't seem to work very well. Now, the server issues, I can put up with that. I think it just shows the game's very popular, it shows that people really want to play ARPGs. Both those things I think are great for the devs, it's great for Wolcen, it's great for ARPGs in general. But what I can't forgive is the game shipping in this condition, whereby there are just so many bugs. Either it hasn't been play tested enough, or I mean, I just don't really know. I can't understand how a £40, $40 game ships in this condition. There's just absolutely way too many. Now, in addition to that, there've obviously been absolutely loads of exploits in the game. If you go on YouTube, you can find guides on how to duplicate gold, how to duplicate items, and that's not good. Again, just not really tested properly and not really handled correctly. So all in all, it's a bit of a buggy mess at the moment. Now, as I say, the game does have some things that I quite like, and there are some redeeming features, and if the game does get fixed, it would become an awful lot more fun. Now, one of the main systems that I think is potentially interesting is the passive tree. So the idea is that you pick passives and branch your character out. You've got different wheels that you can rotate around. You can build yourself quite a unique, bespoke character, and each node will do something different. Now, that combined with the skill system, whereby skills are shared across all classes, you just find them on the ground and level them up. The more you level them up, the more power they get, and you can swap the runes at any time on them, and you can have more runes the more powerful you go. So again, very flexible. I quite like that. Unfortunately, neither of these two things seem to function particularly well. So a good example is I've been using the auto turret. I've been trying to work my way up to one of the runes that gives you an extra 40% crit chance, because I was going to try and take a crit chance build whereby you get extra damage for crit chance, but you lose damage when you don't crit. So 40% crit chance would be very handy. Unfortunately, when you equip the rune, it actually only gives you 10% crit. It doesn't give you 40, and it's things like that are just littered all over this game. Things say they do one thing, and then you look at your sheet and you stick them on, and they don't do that. And again, like, if this RPG is you're supposed to design your character and you're supposed to build them methodically and slowly, but then what you're working towards doesn't work, again, I just find that unacceptable. That's just, for me, shouldn't be shipping in this condition. Should have been tested a lot more. Now, obviously, you can pay to respec your character. You can reset all of your passive points. You can reset all of your attribute points. But again, it just feels like this really shouldn't be in this condition. So the attribute points, again, in theory, is something that should be quite interesting. You can add points to ferocity, which will give you crit hit chance. You can add points to agility, which will give you attack speed. You can add points to toughness, which will give you life and force shield. And you can add points to wisdom, which will give you kind of magic powers. Now, in theory, the game is trying to encourage you to do all of them, and you get a multiplier on your damage depending on your highest skill attribute, and then you get a little bit extra for your second, a little bit extra for your third, and so on. Now, unfortunately, what this means is that the game basically encourages you to dump all of your attribute points into one category, because you output more damage by just picking everything in one category rather than mixing and matching. So even as a range character, as a ranger, I do more damage by putting everything into toughness than I do by going for crit hit chance and attack speed, and that's just silly. Plus, obviously, the game is pretty hard, so you need your toughness anyway. You can't ignore it as a category. So again, it's just a system that doesn't really work too well. So overall, guys, I play casually. Sometimes I only get half an hour to play games in the day. Sometimes I get a bit more. Obviously, it just kind of depends. I've got a job, I've got a wife, I've got kids. If I want to settle down for like maybe an hour or something and play a video game, I want it to work. I don't want it to crash. I don't want it absolutely full of bugs. And I definitely don't want to work myself towards something only for it either to not be what it says or for it to just not work. So at the moment, I think if I didn't have a YouTube channel and make content, I'd be pretty pissed at handing over my $40, £40 for this game and just have it not work. And obviously things can be fixed. I am hopeful that it will get to a better point, but at the moment I really would just avoid this game at the moment. It just doesn't seem worth the time, doesn't seem worth the effort. I'm kind of reflecting back on the time that I've put into the game and thinking, do you know what, I probably would have been better playing Path of Exile or maybe making some more PTR footage. And again, it's just not a really good feeling. The game crashing, bugs, it's just so unsatisfactory. I'm finding it very hard to play. But obviously this is just my personal experience, and I do understand that other people will have had a different experience. If you hadn't had the same bugs that I had, and if you hadn't got stuck quite so much, then maybe you'd have more of a positive light. So obviously, guys, if you can jump in the comments and maybe give some feedback to some people about your own experience, if it is more positive than this. It is a game that I would like to come back to. I'm not saying I'll never play it again, but I am just finding it very hard to make content for. Now, I probably will put out a guide on how to beat the Act 1 boss, because that is something that I personally struggled with, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people in that boat. But if you could give me a bit of guidance, if this is a game that you would like to see more of, do let me know in the comments, and I will carry on batting away in the background. But as I say, I just got to the point last night where it just crashed so many times that I just feel so frustrated with this game, and I really do want it fixing, because it does potentially look like a lot of fun. It does look like a good ARPG, but the problem is that it doesn't work, and as I say, it's very hard for me to say anything other than that. So again, I'm not saying definitely don't buy this game, but if you do buy it, just be aware that it's going to crash a lot, just be aware that there are a lot of bugs, just be aware that things don't work as they are supposed to. So at the moment, I'd probably swerve it. But as I say, guys, happy to know your thoughts, and as I say, let me know if you would like some more content on the basis of this game. But that's the video. As I say, I did want to be more positive, but I just kind of can't really get there with the experience that I've had. But I hope you found the video useful, or at least entertaining. If you did, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you want some more videos, and as I say, comment if you want some more content on Wolcen. Other than that, guys, I've been the Filthy Casual. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. Peace.